What is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. I am driving home on my way home from work. My first day coming back after the big WrestleMania trip. I took off Wednesday to Tuesday. I came back on Wednesday. Today we had our big ad change. I didn't know what was going on. I feel like a truck hit me this morning at 4:15 when the alarm went off. When I got to work at 5, I honestly felt like it was my first day ever, and I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know, maybe I'm at the place now where as I get older, I got to take an extra day off just to recover from vacation, because today was, man, like I said, I felt like I got hit by a truck. WrestleMania, one hell of an experience. I can't believe that it's been 9 years since my last WrestleMania 32 trip. I went really hard at a WrestleCon. I met a lot of wrestlers. I got a lot of really cool experiences that I'm sure as I get time, I'll tell more of those stories about what's going on. But I told myself that when I was going to go on this trip with Ravi and Miguel, that I didn't want to pay $1,000 for tickets to go to WrestleMania. And then really kind of not know what was going on other than what the main event was. I didn't gamble a whole lot. I put money on the Kings game. I put money on a Braves game. I put a future for the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. I got my friend a ticket for the Rams to win the Super Bowl, my buddy Troy. I put $20 on the roulette table, and that was really it. I kind of live my life pretty cheap. I don't mind paying for things, but I kind of just don't like throwing money away. So that was one of the reasons why I think I made myself really get into WWE the last year. But the more I got into it, like the more I really realized like how much I really love this stuff. And the more I got to the point where I always was kind of scared that to be a WWE fan, you had to watch Raw, you had to watch SmackDown, you had to watch the pay-per-views. I don't want to like pick and choose what it is, but I mean, like, I feel comfortable not watching NXT. I feel comfortable, not watching AEW a bit. Like, I follow the product, but I don't like join into like huge conversations with people ripping each other over if it's good or bad. It just, right now, it's just not on my table. There was a good time when I was watching a lot of AEW, mostly because I was following along with the product with BTE, which for me really got me into watching it because I thought that was an awesome way to get the characters across. But even though when I'm at a WrestleMania trip, I'm not done, being a wrestling fan. I think I am really, really interested in basically all the stuff that is going down. I think that Backlash is going to be in St. Louis. I believe it's going to be in 2 weeks. And they hit the trails running. There's 2 major storylines in WWE that was on Monday Night Raw. We set up for a dream match that a lot of people, when John Cena announced was going to be his last WrestleMania match, that he was going to have his last year in WWE. One of the big names that a lot of people wanted to see was Randy Orton versus John Cena one more time. I kind of thought that was funny, because there was a time period when, like, it seemed like every pay-per-view was Orton and Cena. Every Monday Night Raw, the main storyline was Orton versus Cena. I keep looking for it, but I could have swore that there was a match. I'm not really quite sure on what the time period was of the year, but I thought they had, like, built it around as the last Orton versus Cena match that they would do. I could have at least swore I saw some sort of a graphic or something like that as a selling point of like, hey, I know we've done this match 1,000 times. We're going to do it one more, but it's the last time, so you better watch this one. For the long time, those 2 guys were 2 of the best workers in the company. They knew each other inside and out. And when Randy Orton slithered his way from underneath the ring into the ring, and hit John with that RKO. I really couldn't think of anything better that they could have done. I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, where's the rematch? Why is Cody not getting a shot at John Cena? If you really think about it, Roman hasn't got his rematch from WrestleMania 40 yet. So, them keeping them apart for as long as you can, I think is going to make Cody versus Cena even bigger. A lot of people are already rushing it like it's going to be the SummerSlam match. I would be surprised. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if Cody versus Cena is saved for what we think is going to be Cena's last match in WWE. I believe he's got 27 more appearances. He's going to be in Texas. I saw the merch get released today on WWE Shop. I can't remember if it's El Paso or what city it's going to be in. But he's also got the Backlash show coming up, so I think that'll bring us down to 25 more appearances. I don't have any doubt in my mind that Cena's going to beat Orton, but it is It is a match that I think a lot of people want to see. People were excited that they got to see Orton at WrestleMania in a match that was hyped because of the fact he was like, everybody wanted to see Rusev or Aleister Black, somebody make the return to the company. Some people thought it was going to be Jeff Hardy. It ended up being, Joe Hendry, which people either loved or they hated. It went either way. I thought it was cool. TNA had their World Heavyweight Champion on WrestleMania. It doesn't matter if he lost in 3 minutes. It's exposure. It gets him out there. I kind of see a point where WWE buys, TNA. I'm not really, quite 100% sure, but this whole working relationship with NXT and TNA where people bounce back and forth, I think they're going to get to a point once they've kind of moved everybody around where, Ethan Page has gone back to TNA, Moose has come to NXT, that they're going to be like, there's no more kind of like dream match, dream scenarios, and they're just going to buy it up and have it as like a second brand that they can have it put out there. I think that there will be a day that WWE does purchase, TNA. I think that makes them bigger having their guy be on WrestleMania. I thought it was huge. Orton versus Cena, gonna be a really, really good match. Don't not in my mind Cena's gonna beat him, but I think that they can put on a good match that really looks like the odds are stacked against Cena. But Cena is smart. He's got one left in the tank. Orton makes one mistake, and Cena capitalizes on it. Hell, with it being in St. Louis, maybe to get Cena over even more. Maybe it's a disqualification finish. Maybe it's a count out. Maybe it's something close to that, and Orton gets to look strong. I don't really know where that goes with the story because you would think that would mean they would want to have some sort of another match. But we got to see Punk versus Cena. We got to see Roman versus Cena, Seth versus... I don't know if we'll get Seth versus Cena. Two biggest heels in the company on the same brand. Maybe they'll keep them apart, but it's going to be good regardless. Backlash 2025. The other storyline looks like it's going to be, Braun Breaker moving himself into the main event with Seth Rollins. And they're going to be going up against CM Punk and Roman Reigns. This match hasn't been announced, but you can kind of see that this is the way that they're moving. I think that there's no doubt in my mind, Braun Breaker as well as Seth Rollins, they beat up Punk one-on-one, and then basically they picked him up, they threw him out of the ring, and then they beat up Roman. Roman and Punk are going to have to find a way to coexist and to be able to beat these guys. And I don't think that there's any doubt in my mind that unlike when they were teamed up in War Games, this time they're not going to be able to decide who gets to hit the finisher, who gets to count the pin. Both of these guys are going to want the glory of defeating them because they both got screwed over by Paul Heyman. I think it's going to come down to where more than likely, Roman is going to basically turn on Punk, and Punk's going to get pinned, or, Punk could get mad and hit his finisher on Roman, and, Roman gets pinned in the middle of the ring. And I think that's going to lead us towards Punk versus Roman at SummerSlam, which is a very, very appealing match, even without the championship there. It's a definite co-main event that I could headline SummerSlam. It could be one of the biggest matches on the show. So a lot of different directions that this could be going. The whole, championship on John Cena doesn't make a ton of sense to me. With Jey Uso holding the World Heavyweight Championship, is Rollins just going to be waiting for Cena to lose the belt and pounce on whoever loses it? Or is Rollins going to go after Jey Uso and get that World Heavyweight Championship, which is kind of looked at what like the Intercontinental title used to be back in the day. It is a title that could headline SmackDown, it could headline Raw, but it is definitely not the same appeal as, they just retired it as the Universal title. So is it just the WWE Championship? Is it the WWE? I'm not really quite sure what I'm supposed to call it. When I was growing up, the belt that Hogan had was just the WWF Championship, and then during the brand split, they brought back the WCW title, which became the World Heavyweight title, and somewhere along the way, everything just sort of got like mixed up and crossed and all that jazz. So it is what it is. I'm looking forward to it. This is gonna be a damn good summer for WWE. They just got to keep hitting the ball, keeping it in play, and I think that a lot of people are going to get appealed. As long as they don't really get into like politics and screw that all up by turning people off, by people telling people their beliefs and what they think of, and just keep it to wrestling. I think that this is a really big era for wrestling, that I think a lot of people that have been putting up with crap for a long time are going to be proud to be wrestling fans and think that it's good. But then again, I thought WrestleMania was awesome, and people were kind of complaining about the finish of that match, and then I thought they gave us a really excellent Monday Night Raw, and then people were kind of complaining that Rusev was a guy that they didn't use. He left, and now why do we care that he comes back? I mean, it honestly seemed like 4 girls got moved up from NXT. Going to be making an awesome women's division even better, especially with what I've been talking about with the mid-card titles in the women's division, with the Intercontinental title, and then Chelsea Green with the United States title. It's going to make those belts mean even more, to the point where they have to be defended, because you're going to have these girls used on WrestleMania next year. So I'm really looking forward to it. Backlash 2025, St. Louis. I think it's in 2 weeks, guys. Let's go.